You're listening to the Social Selling Simplified podcast. Stick around if you too are obsessed with learning things that actually work and believe that success leaves clues. We're all about identifying results-producing roadmaps and getting super clear on how to scale and grow your online business. From part-timer to president, social selling expert Ashley Shaw will help you connect the dots and take the guesswork out of what works to grow a social selling empire. It's time to hear from social selling legends, listen in on truthful conversations, and learn the best tips and tricks to reduce the marketing overwhelm so you can build the social selling business of your dreams. If you're ready to go all in, no holding back, and build the business you've always wanted, you're in the right place. Here's your host, educator, social selling guru, and fitness industry OG, Ashley Shaw.
All right. Thank you so much, Emily, for being here today. It's such a pleasure to have you and talk about marketing. I love that you're an expert in, just so many areas. One of my favorite parts of your story, though, is the where you talk about being a true fitness enthusiast. I'm remembering Jane Fonda's workout videos with the striped belt that's leopard print, the leg warmers, and all starting that at a young age. My parents owned a Gold's Gym in the 80s. So that was totally where I grew up as well. My dad was like in hammer pants. My mom had all the thongs, and I would be trying them on. It was
exactly
a whole experience.
Those were good days. First, Ashley, thank you so much for having me. I remember I was a child of the 80s. So getting in front of Jane Fonda with my mom was a daily occurrence. And it started at a really young age with the leg warmers, with the belted leotards, and all the different color leggings that came underneath. But those are good times. And ironically, a lot of that online, that video presence is coming back in 2020 here.
It's so true. I actually have a pair of leopard print tights on right now, which you can't see, but yes, it's totally, I love that it's making that swing around back. And it's interesting too, obviously times right now, all the home workouts that are happening and just a throwback.
Exactly.
That's all occurring.
Exactly. Yeah. Leopard print's timeless, though. I will stand by that.
That is so true. So guys, I want to tell you just a little bit about Emily and some of the amazing things that she does for small business owners and visionaries. She has run accounts like Delta Airlines, Microsoft, Miller Coors Brewing, and Best Buy. And she's also most recently served as the Chief Marketing and Operating Officer for the Dailey Method Franchising Company before leaving to start her own company, which is called Be Mindful Marketing. So what Emily does is, as the founder and CEO of her company, is she collaborates and partners with small businesses and entrepreneurs that either have a product, a service, or experience to sell. And she helps them with their marketing to make it really approachable to meet them where they're at. And she helps these small business owners and visionaries achieve their dreams and realize and unlock that potential. So we're going to dive in. This is going to be a bit of an informal conversation because I'm so excited to just pick your brain. And I love just being able to have dialogue about marketing and what's working right now. Because obviously there's so much noise around marketing and what you can be doing. And something that you said earlier to me just really resonated about a lot of entrepreneurs feel like they have to be good in every single area, which feels like almost this sense of your shoulders kind of slump down before you even start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's a tall order, right? And it's unrealistic. And I encourage anybody who feels like they have to be good at everything to take that pressure off of themselves right now. Mm-hmm. There are experts in all sorts of fields, and there are so much support, and there are so many resources and platforms and tools out there so that you don't have to feel like you're really good in all areas. And truth be told, if you focus in on the areas or the skills that you're really, really good at that come naturally to you, those are your gifts. And if you can put more effort and focus on where your true gifts are, they will shine. Your business will succeed and flourish. And then you're able to outsource other components, or you can lean on support, trade, barter. There's all sorts of creative solutions so that you don't have to feel like you're doing all the jobs, right? I know that's an unnecessary pressure many of us put on ourselves. And we got into this business in the first place because we had a natural talent or a gift. And then it gets watered down, or the weight of all of the other jobs start to kind of squash that. And where we shine is when we're stepping into where those natural talents and gifts are. And they're different for everybody. I like to work with my clients so that they can focus on where they think their true talents and gifts are and where they love spending the most of their time. There are some things you can't escape as a business owner. There are going to always be some chores and duties and responsibilities that maybe not our favorite, but there's also quite a few things that you can delegate, that you can automate, that you can systematize so that they are not taking over the time that you're able to share your gifts with your clients and your customers.
Yeah, I remember hearing that for the first time. I was in a mastermind. It was led by Rick Mulready, who is a Facebook ads and Instagram expert, among many other things. But one thing that he said that really resonated with me is that when you look at the top 5% of your business, there are just certain things that you won't be able to get out of outsourcing, right? So being the face of your business, like no one else can go on and do your Facebook Live.
Exactly.
No one else can go on and do your podcast. But you look at many other things in your business and someone else, there really is, like you said, an expert for everything. So if we're to talk a little bit about content marketing and strategy, because I know this is definitely one of your sweet spots, is something I like to geek out on too. I want to just lay out a bit of maybe a step-by-step process. Like if you're somebody that maybe is just getting started in your business, or maybe you're looking to do a bit of a reboot, you know how important it is that because your content is what helps attract your followers to you, and you want to come out of the gate strong with your content. Where do you usually start with people, and how do you coach them on that initial process of getting clear of what content they should be creating?
Yes, this is a great question. So I would say most people will jump right in and they've already gotten to the tactics on what they're going to do first. And on every first time we talk, we take like 20 steps back to start. In order to decide the tactics you're going to use, you need to know where you're going directionally. Mm-hmm. You know where you are today. So whether you are about ready to launch, you're relaunching, you're evolving, you're trying to grow, or you're just trying to retain the business that you've already built, you need to have a clear vision of where it is you're going. And oftentimes we don't, right? We know where we want to go today, and we might know where we want to go tomorrow, but we have to push ourselves to think a little bit bigger than that. That's where the strategy comes into play, right? So if you know that you have an idea and you want to launch your business and you want to grow it to, $100,000 in revenue in the first 12 months. All right, so let's hone in on that first. We're going to start from 0. We're working towards 100. Now let's dig into where some of your natural gifts are, your skills, your talents. Where do you think you're really, really good? And what are some areas that maybe you don't feel as confident in? And some areas of either running a business or launching a business that you know you would need additional support and help. Okay, so once we've been able to identify where the areas are that only you can show up, right? Only you can be you. Nobody else can be you. And that is the lifeline and is going to determine how successful you are in reaching your goals. But we need to free up some of the other space and time so that you can show up as you, because you are the person that is going to be attracting your clients and customers, and they need to hear from you. So then after we've figured out where we're going directionally, and something that I think many of us as achievers are afraid to put goals out there that we might not hit. Mm-hmm. And it's okay if you don't hit the goal or nail the number that you put out there. In fact, it's not a failure. It's an opportunity to see, where could you have done things a little differently? Were your goals or expectations unrealistic in the first place? Do you need to make some soft changes or establish new processes in order to get there in the next couple of months? But it's a target, right? So if you were to liken this to cooking or something, you don't just have a recipe, not look at it, and mindlessly go to the store and not know like the ingredients that are on that list, right? You go to the store, you have the ingredients, you have the instructions, and then you know what the desired outcome is going to be with that recipe. So we do the same thing with business. Once we've decided where you're going and we've honed in on where you really shine, then we can start to look at what are some of the tools or what are some of the marketing channels that you may feel most comfortable in based on where some of those gifts are. Some people are really comfortable on video. Some people are terribly uncomfortable on video and are excellent copywriters. So it's good to start where you are going to feel most confident, especially as you're launching or you're relaunching, because that is going to be the best way that you show up for others to see. If you feel insecure or a lack of confidence when you show up on video, that will come through, right? Like the part of your personality that you want people to be drawn to, that's your brand. They won't get to see that. So we'll start to design a marketing strategy that is, it's like a prescription for you so that you can start to build that momentum, feel that confidence. And it happens every time. Once we start feeling some confidence and we get ourselves out there, right? It's a little bit vulnerable when you get yourself out there for the first time or even when you're relaunching. Then you have that momentum that you can build on. So now we can start to explore other channels, whether it be in social media or whether it be email marketing or webinars. The list is endless. I think it's so important that there's a lot that goes on in your head before you launch a business or before you relaunch a business or before you shift or you change gears or you create a new offering. There's a story that happens in your own head, and you might share it with some people along the way as you go through this journey of exploring what is this business going to look like, or what is your new product going to look like? What is your new service going to look like? When you are telling your story and you are marketing, you have to share that journey with your audience. They need to come along with you. Even if you don't have it entirely figured out, you want to share that vision, that story. People buy from people. They are not buying from brands, and they want to know you as a person. And the more you're able to share your idea, share your vision, and then invite them to be a part of it, the more successful you will feel and the more your community will feel a part of what you've created.
Mm-hmm. You just reminded me of something about this, sharing your journey. So I am definitely targeted on Facebook for about 3 things. 1, lashes. Like all the time, because I buy that stuff all the time. 2, baby stuff. Just they're all over me. And then maternity stuff, actually 4, and dog things. Like, because I will always pull out my credit card for those things. But what was funny is the other day, the ad that stopped me, of course, I have a small little place in my heart for the Kardashians. Not all of them, just some of them. And I saw Courtney promoting these lashes. And of course, I had to stop because I trust her opinion. Absolutely. And then I thought they must have retargeted me based on the fact that I watch Kardashian stuff, because then I got something from Kris Jenner about like this teeth whitener thing. But it's so funny. Like I wouldn't have stopped for that brand, right? It was the people. So
right.
It's funny that you say that, right?
And we'll stop. I mean, we can read messages all day long. And if we don't know the person, it's really, I think we're a society of like, I don't know if I can believe that. But once you've established trust with somebody and they tell you, hey, this is the best glue for eyelashes, this is what you should use, or this is the best mascara, or the best way to treat your lashes, all of a sudden your ears are open and eyes, and you're ready to listen.
Yeah. Well, and it was funny because I was paying attention to my behavior, sort of self-reflecting. I had seen another ad for eyelashes, and it was these like fabric filter things. Like, so I've had lashes for 3 years.
Yep.
And I'm definitely paying the price now for the fact that like, I don't know if they're going to grow back. Time will tell. So this product, it has like these little silk fibers or something. And I was like, I don't know. There's no story here. Like, this is what's going through my head. I don't know if I can trust them. what do? I go down and start reading the comments and the testimonials,
Yes.
and boom, like I'm sold. There's so many people saying they love the product. So
Yes.
it is interesting how our minds are looking for that. We're looking for that trust and rapport and relatability. And if we don't instantly see it with someone's face or a story that we want to know more about, instantly it's about, well, what do other people have to say about that?
Absolutely. We trust others' opinions and we rely on others' opinions 80% of the time when we're making our own decisions. 80% of the time. And I will tell you, as a former lash addict, they do grow back. And part of it is just the shock of not having them on anymore, because it is definitely luxury.
It is. It's like the one place, like my eyebrows and my lashes are so white. Like if only my hair, like I didn't have to dye my hair. I still do, but everything else is like white. So I'm glad to know that there is hope at the end of this tunnel.
There is. And it's quick. It doesn't take long.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Glad to know that. So I want to go back to what you said here about having this clear vision of where you're going and what that target is. I love that idea of setting that financial goal, because you're so right. Like you just need to know where you're running to. Even if it, like, I think goals should scare you a little bit. Like it's a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. Makes you feel a little sweaty, like a little nervous, but like that's actually pushing yourself out there. And then I think sometimes once that is established and once you've set your mind on that, the focus then becomes on the how, not can I get there? Can I not? Like, no, you've set it out. So that's your commitment, what you're going to get to now. Now it's about the how. Here's one thing that I think has been interesting. It's been like a shift in my own business, because for those that aren't familiar with it, there's sort of this phase of launching where maybe you're putting something in front of people that maybe they've never seen before. That phase in your content and your strategy looks different than when you're like sort of status quo. And I love how Amy Porterfield puts this, where she's like, there's the off season, and then there's like the lead up, and then like there's the aim season. Yes. And I think understanding that subtlety in how your content is shifting during those periods, because the off season is really about more content, like what you were saying about sharing your journey, building trust, building goodwill, like just serving up your audience. And then when you're starting to launch something, the content is tweaking. It's tweaked and you're pivoting a bit to lead people down to where you want them to go.
Absolutely. So when you think about your marketing, you are an educator, you are an inspiration, you are a real human. You use other testimonials and other stories to help provide that social proof that you actually are who you are and you do what you say you do. So it's a combination of all of these different types of messages. But truth be told, all of this information, whether it be educational or inspirational or, validation, is meant to inspire the future purchase you're going to ask somebody to make. And without selling to them, this is the key difference, without selling to them every single time. And I use this analogy a lot, but if you were at a cocktail party, and you had, there's a group of people around you, and there's this person that you run into at every single cocktail party. She is always telling you everything she's doing, never asking you any questions, and trying to kind of like push her agenda on you. Next time you saw her, you would probably go to the other end of the room, because it's not awesome to listen to. It's not a two-way dialogue. It's a one-way dialogue. It's selfishly motivated, or at least it's coming across that way. And it comes across as a bit insincere and disingenuous. Whereas if there is a conversation, a genuine conversation being had where you're sharing information, whether it be, educational information that's going to help guide people, direct people, not worrying about whether or not they paid for it or if they didn't pay for it, right? You're just sharing. You are a knowledge expert and you are sharing those gifts, or you're providing a source of inspiration. Or again, you're sharing other stories so that people can envision themselves in another person person's shoe. When you come to the point of selling or sharing what it is you have to sell or what it is you have to offer, now you've inspired me to consider you and making my purchase because I know that you are a knowledge expert in your area. I know that others have good experiences in working with you. I know that I am inspired by you. I learned something from you. That's where that trust is built so that the sale actually becomes a lot easier when your marketing is focused on serving your ideal client and your customer so that they are drawn to you when it comes time to ask for the purchase.
I love that. Like, it just gave me this really intense visual of like this bridge you're creating. It's like bringing them from a place of getting to know you, but that bridge of trust and confidence in what you do and that you actually deliver what you say you do.
Yes.
Like that has to be formed first before anyone's going to feel actually inspired to buy from you.
Right, right. And there's always a hesitation, I think, that at least clients of mine have that, what if I give too much? And then, what's the point of them paying me if I'm giving it all away for free? And you said this before that, clients know what they want, but they might not know how to get there. They might know what their end state is, what the desired transformation is for themselves, physically, mentally, in business, but they don't know how to get there. And so you can give all of the information that's going to fuel that what, but you are the person that is guiding and directing them and showing them how, right? Outlining, encouraging them, holding them accountable, keeping them so that they are on that path for themselves.
Mm-hmm. I remember hearing this great analogy before of that difference between what do you give away for free versus what is it that you pay for? Mm-hmm. And so the analogy was, in the middle of the night, if you wake up and you forgot to take your vitamin, are you going to get up in the middle of the night and take it? No, probably not, right? But if you have a pounding headache and you can't sleep, you're going to get up and you're going to take that aspirin. Right. So that's sort of the difference in the content you provide. The vitamins are the free things that help solve like small little conundrums that build trust. Yes. But the really painful stuff is what is actually behind your closed doors and what people pay for.
Yes. Otherwise, they could do it themselves, right? But you need that assistance. There's something that your clients need and you can serve that they can't do or they don't want to do on their own, right? So you're able to help guide them there. That sharing of your vision and your idea and the invitation for them to join you needs to be there, though. That formal invitation for them to join you has to be there rather than, crossing your fingers and closing your eyes and hope that they understand that you're asking them to join. Even as a marketer, and I've been doing this for over 18 years, I've confused my own audience before. So there's no, formula. There's no magic formula. But if you pay attention and you really listen and see how your audience responds, you can see if you're confusing them. You can see if the message isn't landing. And that's an opportunity, not a failure. That's an opportunity to take a time out and look to see what you're missing because you're so familiar with what you're saying and what you have to sell and what you have to offer. But something might not be connecting if you're not getting the desired result that you're looking for.
And so what would be an example of how you would know that you're causing confusion?
Yes. All right. Well, I'll tell you for myself, what I realized was causing confusion and something I had been doing recently. I was offering a lot of free workshops and free content. And I moved to a paid form of workshops and content. But there was no dialogue or discussion between free and not free. And there was no vision share of why starting with the free or why continuing with the free and then moving to pay. There was no invitation in free content to then join for paid content. There wasn't the explanation as to why I created a paid form and why I was offering information for free. So that's a real example from a real marketer, right? All of that went on in my head. And it was somewhat communicated, but not guided, right? So what I noticed for myself is that there's a disconnect, that it was confusion. It was questions, posts, comments in social media. Like, I don't understand. Where's the next work-free workshop? How do I get to this? So as soon as those questions started coming up, I took a quick time out. All right, listen, what's going on here? I had free information. Now it's not free. There has to be a discussion of what's happening. So if you're pivoting, you're relaunching, you are launching a new service or an additional service or a higher tier to what you had before, there just needs to be an explanation more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. It's using that educational and inspirational and storytelling to guide people so that there is a clear connection from your free content moving into not free content. Or if it was, you launch a new product and there's so much work that happens behind the scenes to get that new product ready and available and prepared for launch. But you need to communicate a lot. Like, it's almost 11 plus times that people need to hear what it is you have to sell. But if you're using that rule where you have some variation with education and inspiration and testimonials and knowledge share, it's woven in slightly differently in each one of those 11 points of communication until people get to the point of consideration for purchase.
I always felt like there was a clicking point for me when I realized that, and that the tool of not only your social media posts, your stories, but then add on top of it emails and maybe free groups you're running, what an opportunity it is to get in front of people quicker, because the social media post delivery rate is usually, I guess, like 2 to 6% of your audience is going to see things. So it's like that repetition is so important. We may feel like a broken record, but I think we have to know that the message, like, someone might still has not heard your message. So
no, they haven't.
Important to get it out there.
And there's statistics out there that you could leave an incredible experience, whether it be an in-person experience or a digital experience, or read an amazing post or read an amazing text or read an amazing article or an email, right? Any of those, they resonate with you. It really sits with you. Within 20 minutes, we forget 80% of what we just consumed. And that is purely because of the chaos in life, no matter what kind of life you lead, and the chaos inside of your head and the amount of messages that are coming at us on a regular basis from all forms of communication. So it is not a failure if your message doesn't resonate the first time. You just need to be consistent and keep talking, but in different ways, always knowing that you are now inspiring the future purchase you're going to ask somebody to make. Even if you don't have that product all dialed in or that service dialed in, but you know you're going to evolve in the future, that can be a long runway that you build until you're ready to sell.
Mm-hmm. And so when we were talking about content that you're going to provide, you had talked about some of these different areas of being an educator, inspiring, storytelling. So how do you determine your categories, and how many would you recommend having that you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, I like to keep it simple and really 4. You could certainly add more, but 4 tends to be kind of the magic number. So if you have 1 is educational, 1 is inspirational, 1 is testimonial or story, and then the fourth one is your actual sale, right? That one is focused. It's more self-serving. It's more direct, and it is asking for the purchase. So it is more of a direct selling module or content type. There are others that you can infuse in there, really depending on your personal brand and what you've developed. But I like to keep it simple with 4 and not to overwhelm people. Those are really broad categories too. Educational can fall in line of, a variety of different things. It doesn't even have to be on the sole topic or the sole industry that you represent. It can be a like-minded industry, where you're able to share information that may get people to think outside of the box or consider another business as they're kind of looking at, all the resources and tools that they have or they need to for their life.
Mm-hmm. Right. And with that, the sale or call to action, like I know in the Done For You content that we create, it's just some sort of call to action. It would be like, here's, you have a freebie that you want them to download. Yep. You want them to take some sort of action to keep that, on point with what's happening.
Yes. Yeah. Just a direct ask, right? Where you have a clear call to action. What do you want me to do now that I've consumed this content? And don't be afraid to follow up. People have the best intentions to buy and take action. So follow up with them. And this is where you can get really scrappy and creative. And when you have, smaller following or a smaller email list, you can be even more creative and scrappy on how you're going to do that follow-up. If you're going to be sending direct messages or audio messages or sending personal emails, but that makes all the difference in terms of how you start to see the conversions that you're looking for and see the sales that you're looking for. That will inform how you continue to scale as you grow. If you find that a personal video that you record and you invite somebody to take action is what's driving people to take the action, you can start to include that as part of an automated form of your marketing. When somebody expresses interest, that there's a pre-recorded video that goes out and you're inviting them to make the sale. But you have to kind of play around with that to determine, what's going to work for you and your brand, because there isn't a formula. It would be so much easier if there was a straight formula that worked for every single person out there, but it's different.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's a lot of social sellers out there that get stuck on, they've been provided, I call it the hey girl hustle. They've been provided this formula, but it isn't a one size fits all. Like some people can totally get away with it and it works for them. But for other people, they cringe as they're pressing send, right. If I got this message, I wouldn't respond to it. So I love that idea of just really being able to play with it and know how much rapport you need to build or what your method is, like an audio versus, something else. I always know my spidey senses go up. And this is, again, important to pay attention to for ourselves, because I think it tells us a lot about the people that we probably attract. Yeah. But this girl that I had never talked to before sent me this message and was like, oh my God, this product would be perfect for you. And I was like, girl, you don't know my life. So it is funny. I really like to pay attention to that stuff, because there's certain things on the other hand that I get from people that I'm like, whoa, so much value. I'm loving that. But then it's black and white. It really is when you pay attention to your own signs and what people are putting out there.
Yeah. And they're telling you, your audience is telling you either by action or by lack of action. So they're telling you. And again, it's all about playing and exploring. When you get stuck, take the pressure off that you have to know exactly what it is you need to do now, and allow yourself to play and explore with some new ideas. And you know what? If it doesn't work, nobody's going to know. You will, but nobody else is going to know. So it give you a chance to try new things, and you might be surprised what suddenly resonates and what you thought was going to work, and actually it did it. Those are amazing learnings. That's how you can start to fine tune your strategy and the direction that you're taking as you're following that roadmap to that end goal, that desired goal that you set out for yourself, that big, hairy one. The bigger, the better. And it should scare you.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the tool Bonjourno?
I've heard of it, but I haven't used it.
I haven't either, but I've been very tempted to. But it's this tool that you can send somebody a personalized message. I'm pretty sure it's a video message, but I've been wanting to try it out because it seems like it would be just a very cool, like above and beyond. Not that you couldn't just like screen record yourself, but I think that this one is a little more sophisticated than that.
So I use a tool called Bomb. This is not an ad. Bomb Video, and it's BOMB. I highly recommend it to a lot of my clients. But again, you have to feel comfortable on video. I'm super comfortable on video, and it is easy and it populates within your email. So I actually find I get through my emails in about an hour now because I send video responses instead of typed out emails, and your open rates are up by like 5, 6, 7 times what they were. It's a really cool tool, similar to Bonjourno. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that one before. So those are definitely two to check out, Bonjourno and Bomb Video.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, awesome. So Emily, where is the best place for people to learn more about you if they want to follow you, reach out and learn more about what you do?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Be Mindful Marketing or on Facebook. Be Mindful Marketing is spelled out BEMINDFUL marketing. But those are the two places I show up most often. And I would love to help or learn more or guide you in the right direction. And, I think that there's so much heart, there's so much passion in this industry, and being able to tell your story is really exciting, and you never know who really needs to hear what you have to say. So just keep doing it, even when it feels like, I don't know what I'm doing this for. Keep doing it.
Love it. Thank you so much, Emily. I so appreciate all your wisdom and for taking the time to share with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you're like most coaches out there, you may be wondering, what is the secret to engagement? You've started to hone in on your captions. You're starting to really connect with your ideal customer, but something is still missing. Listen, I totally get it. It can be really frustrating to try to get engagement from your ideal customers when you feel like you're putting your heart and soul into everything that you're putting out there. And that's why I'm creating a photo and video workshop with my videographer and photographer friend, Shauna Yurko. What we're going to be doing is going through the ultimate guide to taking the best photos that capture your ideal customer's attention. And this is without any crazy cameras, and with being able to do this all from the comfort of your phone and by yourself. You're not going to want to miss this workshop. To find out more, go to ashleyshaw.ca/photo workshop. That's ashleyshaw.ca/photo workshop. We'll see you on the other side of the next episode.